Hey, 420 MSP, we're back with Blake out of Colorado, and that's an important part of this month's visit is, in fact, the state of Colorado. Sir, yeah, I call it the weather report. What's the weather report? What happened recently, and how might that affect the marijuana and hemp growers?
Yeah, it was a pretty rough week last week in Colorado Springs. We went from about 95 degrees on Sunday, and by Tuesday it was snowing and 26 degrees. And so uh, it was a scramble to keep things alive. Me
Yeah.
personally, I had to run out and make sure that my tomatoes were covered, and you know, they survived, but then the deer came in. So
There we go. Well, Colorado does that. I spent some time in Colorado in college, so I distinctly remember not so much like early September, but I do remember snow in April and May, and it's typically a one-day event, and the next day it's all warm and sunny again and a little sloppy. But I'm looking off screen. Marijuana Business Daily posted up a piece about the storm. Um, and it says early freeze in Colorado could cost marijuana and hemp growers millions in losses. Any thoughts on that? I mean, we're talking agriculture here, man.
yeah, and it's not the first time. I think last year one of the big outdoor grows we got hit with another cold snap, and it just really takes its toll on them. I mean, they planned for the first freeze not to come till October sometime, or at least late September. And so this early, really, it's unexpected, but it's happened a couple times the last 2 years. And I'm glad I'm not a grower, and I'm glad I'm not in agriculture. It's a big risk they take. Um,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And do you have clients on the grow side, or are you mainly the dispensary side? Is this in your wheelhouse?
yeah, so all of our clients also have their own grows, and so but
Oh,
they're all
okay.
indoor, and so and I think you know most most places down here in Colorado, I think, are doing it indoors just because we have 6 months where it really is not conducive to grow outside, unless you're farther south where there's a far less risk of a freeze.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that makes sense. That's like saying our good friend Dan Foot in Alaska. Probably unlikely they have a lot of outdoor grows in the state of
yeah,
Alaska, or
I
they
don't
would.
know. Maybe over the summer. I remember when I lived in Fairbanks, you had to mow the grass every other day because the sun was out 24 hours a day. So
Yeah,
maybe it is conducive to growing good
well,
plants.
or both, right? Both. I mean, no, seriously, because I spent some time in Alaska myself, and the Matanuska Valley was known for these enormous pumpkins, right?
Uh-huh.
That would grow essentially in 90 days. So, Blake, it's actually a legitimate conversation. I bet you have both. I bet you have, if regulations allow, but you would have indoor, outdoor, and there's a time and a place for both. So that makes sense, actually.
Yeah,
So
we have had speaking of growing issues. There's been a problem keeping up with the supply, definitely over the last couple months, with with the indoor grows not being able to expand. And so now that everybody is the consumption's gone up over the last 6 months, it's hard to stay up with it. And those from what I've heard, the dispensaries that don't have their own grows are running into serious trouble because they can't find product.
yeah, that's actually a really, really good point. And the irony is in the state of Oregon and California too. Um, Oregon, I'll pick on Oregon today, but they had a very liberal licensing mechanism. So basically, there's too much supply, right? Bottom line is there's too much supply for a relatively small state. And of course, that leads to black market misbehavior. It leads to cross border traffic misbehavior. Um, but the legit guys, you're right, the legit dispensary in Colorado that doesn't have a supply chain, they are going to be facing what you suggest, right? They're going to have stockouts. And that's not a lot of fun when you're in retail because that's a lost sale.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Any event, well, sir, we'll check in with you next month, but I appreciate you giving us the weather report from Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully I can get out and golf. It was freezing last week this time, and now it's about 80 degrees and beautiful weather for golf. So,
Oh, man,
and
living the dream.
it's supposed to be this way for another couple of weeks, and then we'll get to October. And
Yep, yep. Then the snow comes. All right, my
yeah,
friend. All right, stay safe.
all right, you too.